Hey guys, and welcome back to Goldfinch Ball of Glory, where today we will be reviewing the beasts of the Mesozoic, Dromeasaurs albutensis. This is one of Creative Beast Studios' first ever figures that they ever made. The paint job is inspired by an American kestrel. I noticed that, the first thing I saw this, because I am a bit of a bird nerd, to be honest, but this figure's just beautiful, man. So let's start off with the sculpt. Starting off with the head, we've got this beautiful molded face. This is very scientifically accurate. You can see the very good paint sculpting, where you can see the feathers. Here it's kind of bare. The feathers are quite bare, but then as they go down the head, they start to get really feathery. And then in the jaw, you can see when it opens that you can see all the little teeth details. And it's very accurate how they did it, so that they put the teeth inside of the lips, because if you didn't know, dinosaurs actually had lips. So the teeth would have been covered up. But yep, and there's also a tongue, which is very beautifully done. Lots of detail just there. Got lots of sculpts going down, lots of different feathers, all in different sizes. It starts to get the feathers start to get quite small along here, and along the wings you've got these primary feathers and secondary feathers, and these definitely have been done very well. You can see just the amount of detail. You can see even the little markings on the feathers you usually get on birds and stuff. It's really well done. And then towards here, we've got the feathers which kind of start to fade a bit, and they start to look more like fur, definitely, as down you go to the feet. These feet are actually fluffy, start being fluffy, as you can see. Obviously we've got the kind of claws that they use, like the sickle claw. Very fluffy feet. It kind of starts to get more fluffy down here, but then along here we go kind of back to feathers, and then here we've got a really long tail where it starts to get small but then gets very big at the end. So yeah. Also, the paint, I was going to cover the paint, but technically I don't have to, because I can just say, oh, this is an American kestrel. But I will say there are a few things which, it is mainly the colorations of American kestrel, but there's also some things they've added just because they think it would look cool. And this, I think, even though it's not the colours of American kestrel, I still think it looks really good with these white and black stripes. The white spots on the feathers look really cool with the black. Lots of different markings and stripes. It actually looks like, if dinosaurs came back to life, this is definitely what it would look like. And yeah, so much detail. There's so much detail to the point where there's new things I'm realising. Like, there's this tiny little yellow thing here. I never actually saw that in the beginning. Like, tiny little yellow thing where the hands are. And then there's also on the other side, tiny little yellow streak. I bet nobody noticed that. Some brown scars, brown markings there. A yellow buff around the cheek, and orange bit there. There's just so much detail, it's ridiculous. Also, you can see down here, the feathers start to really loosen up here. Like, very baggy down there. So now, let's move on to the articulation. So for the articulation, obviously we have the jaw that I just showed you at the beginning when I was doing the review. But what I didn't tell you is that, believe it or not, but there was a reason why I was picking at the tongue earlier. Because it's very hard to do, but tongue, believe it or not, is actually articulated as well. It's on a ball joint. So that is really, really well done there. I definitely wouldn't expect that. But then again, this is a very well done figure. even though it's got so many problems. And I'll get to those later on, but yeah, very well done. Then I thought here you could articulate this area, but I don't think you can, because you could try so many times and it won't work. I don't know why. I think the Raptor line really is a big mess, to be honest. Probably one of their worst lines, to be honest. But apart from that, everything else about the line was good. I mean, I think everything else they did. Then again, this was like the first ever line they ever did, so obviously it's going to be bad. But yeah, it's not going to be as good as the first ones. But yeah, this is non-existent. This joint here, this doesn't exist. But what does exist is that the joint here, it's on a ball joint. This kind of moves, but it's very stiff. I tried doing it with a hairdryer, but hasn't really worked, to be honest. We've also got the wings, or arms, wings, arms, I don't know what they are, probably arms, actually. But yeah, you got the hip, then there's a ball and socket joint there, and then you got a joint there for if it wants to sneak up, and then you got one for the primary, which is basically kind of like the arm moving. No actual articulation on the hands, but it doesn't really matter because it looks good like this anyway. We've also got some extremely stiff waist articulation. Very stiff. Very stiff. We've also got the legs, which move like that, but can also, as I showed in the review, split like that. I've also got some articulation there. I've got an ankle joint, and then a joint for the main foot. And then, something I really, really do like about this is that they also have a dew claw. They also have like the tapping claw, sickle claw, articulation. That is really good. I really like that. That's something I genuinely am really happy that they added. They've got this kind of articulated bit here for the tail, the very base, and then they've got another one here, and then the rest of the tail. It may look like a solid piece, but it's actually bendy wire. So that's really cool. So you can put it into quite literally any position you like, and it will stay. Isn't that cool? That's really cool. But yeah, I do think this figure, really good articulation, I'll give them that. Also, comes with this stand with a kind of mountainous base, like a green base with rocks and stuff. But there's a reason why there was a stand included. So you can pose it like that. So yeah, basically, these are the spare claws you could use, so it's like walking. These are basically useless now, because for the simple answer, I had to actually like put Gorilla Glue on this because of how hard it was to do. So yeah, there's lots of swapping problems, and also the main one where it's just really bad at standing. You constantly have to use the stand. There's literally no other way. You could use strings, but I don't know. And I really wish that they could make another Dromeasaurus and probably improve it somehow. Probably make the neck articulation actually a thing. Because they managed to do that with the Utyrannus recently. They managed to update that. So I don't really see a problem with them updating the Raptors in general. So it's definitely possible. But hopefully, Creative Beast Studio does actually improve this figure, because I actually really like this a lot. Absolutely beautiful paint choice. I think they absolutely smashed it. Generally, I just really want them to update this one, because this is so cool. Now it's about time to do some size comparisons. So let's do that right now. Our first size comparison, we have the GBG crew. Then we have a size comparison with the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom Mattel Indoraptor figure. This one I decided to include, as this is also very well articulated. Then we have a size comparison with the Schleich Baryonyx. And then we have a size comparison with the NECA King Kong versus Godzilla. And this was the last review that I did, so obviously why not include this? So that's the end of this review. I hope you enjoyed it. This is my first ever Beast of the Mesozoic figure, so I'm really I've got mixed thoughts on it. Overall, I think it's really good. Just needs some improvements, but apart from that, it's basically very, very good for their first ever figure and figure series. So this has been really well done. And I hope I'll see you in the next review. Overall, I think it's a 6 out of 10. I think they did a really good job on it. In terms of the paint, articulation, not so much. I think they really need to improve on the neck joint and need to improve on swapping the feet and also making it so it can stand by itself. Anyways, that's the end of this video, and bye.